I've been looking at some of the Nolgath weapons and whatnot, and I realized there's quite a similarity between the AQ3D versions of these weapons and the AQ World versions. This is one of the weapons I was really happy to see. This is Abaddon's Cruelty level 44 weapon. This is a legendary that you need to complete this quest in order to obtain it, but it's a pretty darn nice looking weapon. And it's based on the AQ World version of it, which is Balar's Cruelty. Now, this one is actually a lot easier to obtain in AQ World compared to AQ3D. The difference here is this is a members-only weapon, so only members can use it because it's only available in a members-only map dropped by a members-only boss. So this is pretty easy to obtain, unlike the AQ3D version, but again, this is only for members, unlike the AQ3D version. Abaddon's Cruelty does require a rather difficult quest. This particular one involved needing some diamonds of Nolgath, dark crystal shards, some tainted gems, the contract of Nolgath, Abaddon's runes, and 150 soul gems. Next is the 8th Betrayal Blade of Nolgath quest pet, and this is what it looks like. And this is based off of the AQ World 8th Betrayal Blade of Nolgath pet, and this is what it looks like, so very similar. And you can get that from the Nolgath's Roulette of Misfortune. It requires having some mana energy as well as the charged energy. The AQ3D version, on the other hand, was a little bit more difficult to obtain. Similar to the Abaddon's Cruelty, you'll be needing the Diamond of Nolgath, Dark Crystal Shard, Tainted Gem, Contract of Nolgath, Essence of Nolgath, and some Soul Gems. The AQ World Sword Pet has all of these quests available, but the AQ3D one also has quests. It has these 4 quests as well as these 2. Assassin Bloodletters of Nolgath. These are legendary weapons, level 44 weapons that you could obtain, and this is the visuals of them. Those were based on the Bloodletter of Nolgath, which is these ones right here. Now, these are color custom. The Bloodletters were not easy to obtain. You needed to have the Assassin's Class rank 10. You also needed to have the Void of Nolgath, Essence of the Blood Void, Diamond of Nolgath, the Contract, and the Dark Macaw rune. Now keep in mind, you need to have the Blood Orb in order to obtain the Blood Letters. And in order to obtain the Blood Orb in AQ World, you would be needing to do the Blood Orb quest. Now this was only for members, and you needed to have Diamond of Nolgath, Totems of Nolgath, the Dark Crystal Shards, and the Contract of Nolgath. And all of this would then let you acquire the Blood Orb. Now again, this was only for members. To get the Assassin's Bloodletters of Nolgath on AQ3D, you would be crafting them. You're going to be needing 80 of the Dark Crystal Shards, 666 Tainted Gems, 666 Soul Gems, Nolgath Weapon Fragments, 2 million gold, and not to mention the diamonds, the contracts, and the Bloodletter of Nolgath. What's nice is you don't need to be a guardian to use this in AQ3D. However, you do need the Bloodletter of Nolgath, which is only available through this quest. And the Bloodletter is just a single one, and you do need to complete the Blood Blades, which will require you having some Dark Crystal Shards, Contract of Nolgath, Diamond of Nolgath, and Tainted Gems to obtain the Bloodletter of Nolgath. The downside is that quest is only available from the Blood Orb pet. Just like in AQ Worlds, you do need to have the Blood Orb pet to access the Bloodletters, and that is going to cost you 2,500 Dragon Crystals. The Phoenix Blade of Nolgath. This was one of the very first things to hit. After completing the Confront Victor quest, you would then get access to the Phoenix Blade of Nolgath quest, which you do have requirements: Diamonds, Dark Crystal Shards, Tainted Gem, Contract of Nolgath, Tainted Phoenix Runes, and the Phoenix Blade. And then upon completing this, you'd obtain the Phoenix Blade of Nolgath. One of the required items is the Phoenix Blade, which you can obtain by Akraloth in the Extreme Challenge. And this is actually based on another item from AQ World called the Phoenix Blade. And this is a members-only item. But the Phoenix Blade of Nolgath was not quite the same look as the one on AQ Worlds. As you'll notice, there is a yellow trim to the AQ World one. This is also members-only, which I did not know this was a members-only one. Thankfully, in AQ3D, it was not Guardians only, but it was strange that it didn't look the same. That was until we got the Tainted Phoenix Blade of Nolgath, which remained very similar to the AQ World look. But this was no easy means to obtain because you needed the Phoenix Blade of Nulgath 2, level 44. You also needed a Contract, Diamond, Perfect Tainted Phoenix Runes, Oblivion Shards, Dark Crystal Shards, the Tainted Gem, Soul Gem, Nulgath Weapon Fragments, and 5 million gold. You could obtain the Phoenix Blade of Nulgath in AQ World from completing the Phoenix Blade of Nulgath quest. This required the Phoenix Blade, the Diamond of Nulgath, the Dark Crystal Shards, the Tainted Gems, and the Contract of Nulgath. Also required the Undead Bruiser Sigil. One of the last Nulgath weapons I farmed was the Taro's Manslayer because it was no easy feat. You needed to complete this quest to obtain this item, and it's a nice item. It's based on the Taro's Manslayer, which is a members-only item from AQ World, which you do need to complete a quest, but you can also get it as a drop. It looks pretty much identical to the AQ 3D version. In AQ 3D, to obtain the item, you do need to have rank 50 Samurai in order to get this. Now, you also need to have the Bloodmaster rune Taro. You then need to have this item. I don't even know how to say that item, but this is obtained in the Yokai Island. You've also got the Legendary Samurai Katana, which is a rank 50 requirement. The Bloodmaster Hanzo Void Katana, which is no easy feat in itself. And then last but not least, 20 of the Besting the Samurai of the Yokai Islands, which is a drop from the Super Tengu. And this gives you the Taro's Manslayer. So to get this item is next level difficult. So it's much easier to obtain in AQ World simply because you can obtain it as a drop from Taro Blademaster, or you can do this quest, but the requirements for this is not very difficult because the Gem of Nulgath, you just need 10. You also need a Dark Makai rune and the Purified Claymore of Destiny, as well as rank 10 good. The last item I want to touch on was the Overfiend Blade of Nulgath, and is probably my favorite weapon, my favorite Nulgath weapon in AQ 3D. And this is no easy feat, but it is a beautiful weapon. It's based on the AQ World version Overfiend Blade of Nulgath, which looks pretty much identical. To obtain this weapon in AQ World, you would need to be level 30, and you would need to have the Contract of Nulgath in your inventory. After that, you need to have 50 Tainted Gems, some Dark Crystal Shards, Diamond of Nulgath, Voucher of the Nulgath member, the Totem of Nulgath, Gem of Nulgath, and the Undead Bruiser rune. And then you have an option to choose one of the following. So then you could choose any one of these, including the Overfiend Blade of Nulgath. In AQ3D, it's a little bit different. You are still going to be doing the Juggernaut items of Nulgath, except the requirements are a bit different. You do need to have the Diamond of Nulgath, Contract of Nulgath, Dark Crystal Shards, Tainted Gem, Soul Gem, Totem of Nulgath, Oblivion Shards, Gem of Nulgath, Oblivion Blade of Nulgath, and the Voucher of Nulgath. I am seriously impressed with the complexity of the quests in AQ3D. I think Fennell really did a good job in taking what AQ World did and converting it into AQ3D. I think the problem is players nowadays just don't have the attention span that they used to have back in the day. I think another factor is time. In AQ World, you can rack through kills and complete quests in a very short amount of time simply because it takes no time at all to kill the enemies. Whereas in an AQ3D, it takes a lot longer to kill an enemy. The quest turn-ins are much slower than they are in AQ World as well, so this would slow down, and I think this was part of the problem with the Nulgath saga. But I'll wager that a lot of the Nulgath items will go down in AQ3D history as some of the hardest items to obtain. Do you have any of the items I mentioned in this video, both in AQ World or in AQ3D? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.